Hello and welcome to another round of this agile pickles. All right, and what we're talking about today, we're talking about stall process. So with agile, we aim for continuous improvement, not just about the product, but also about the how we do things. So if you are not becoming better at what you do, then you ain't agile. So cutting this out not only helps the teams to stay on track and maintain sort of their focus throughout the sprint, but also to have a much healthier environment and a way of achievement towards, yes, the product, but also the team vision and how we interact with each other, the skills that we gain through the process, and so much more. In this Agile Antipattern series, one of the things that we look at is the indicators. How do we know what are the signs of these things? In this case, the stall process. What are the signs of that thing creeping in? One thing in this case that I would probably look at is when you miss the goals, right? You have delays. Another thing is that you have a planned work because we've been very reactive rather than proactive. Another indicator is this idea of start and stop. We lack flow. And also the creeping of technical debt. In any industry, this is not just software. Technical debt happen everywhere. Now, having these behaviors benefits from prompting the team, right? Poking a little bit so that you can, and the team can reflect. You can consider different ways to foster a more open, more diverse environment, more productive, more fun, more enhancing. So here are some questions that should be simple enough, but really useful to help reflection. Okay? Act as a poke, open possibilities. Good stuff to have in your back pocket. One is, what is one thing that would allow us to improve what we do? One thing. Or what is one thing that would allow us to improve how we do it? How often do we meet the sprint goals and objectives that we set at the beginning of each sprint? What is hindering us from finishing items before we start others? And how well are we managing unexpected things during the sprint? Just sort of tackling those questions per each one of the signs that we cover. So antidotes, right? So we know what's happened. We have our indicators. We have those poking questions, so we can have some reflection. Now, what is the medicine, our antidotes to ease the problem? One that we have covered already is this idea of limits. Work in progress limits, WIP, you may have seen. And that really is to restrict the number of tasks, the number of user stories, backlog items that you have in the sprint at one time, so that the team members can really work on what is started, trying to favor the flow to be finished. Right? You limit how many things are in work at the same time. Another one that is our best friend here are retrospective. And this is why they exist, to improve the process, to pause and reflect about the how we do things. So if retrospective are not getting you to solve such a things, your own process, you're not becoming better at what you do, then what you may need is some polishing up of the retrospective in itself so that you can enable the tool to be effective to do the thing why of its very essence of existence. Another antidote is about simplifying decision-making processes. So some of the things that get stalled in terms of the process, that get stalled into enabling us to finish things, is the amount of energy that gets drained with trying to get decisions out the way, or how the decision-making process is kind of perceived And the last, as usual, is measure. So if you know particular signs for your process that is stalled, then measure those, monitor, so that you can address the outline different patterns of concern. Now, addressing when your process is not getting any better can really lead to be more efficient, to have much more robust, certainly more pleasant behavior that's going to drive continuous improvement with the product, within the team, but also all around. So now it's your turn. What have you seen working well when tackling the anti-pattern of a stalled process?